Welcome to Shop Talk, where you be getting my honest opinion on current events, life, and sports. I would like to get into this Bully album by Ye. I think it's phenomenal. 18 tracks of just pure creativity from one of the greatest artists of all time. Um, People may not want to admit it, but Ye always delivers when it comes to the artistry and just pure hip hop and pushing the envelope and things of that nature. Um, Been a fan since college dropout. He's actually one of the few artists that he never really fell off musically or whatever. I know we all know about the antics and things of that nature, but whenever he drops, the whole world pays attention, or whatever he says or tweets, the whole world pays attention. So, um, whole lot going on in this world today, I tell you that much. Um, this illegal war, things of that nature, just you know, I think we just have to learn nowadays to let people stay on the side they say they want to be on. That's where we at with it. It's the world is in chaos because they don't want to see black people in positions of power. You know, you're reading every day about all the different massacres they've had all over the world for as dealing with black people, the transatlantic slave trade. 123 countries said it was the greatest crime in American history. Greatest crime. And United States, one of the countries that voted against it. 52 other countries abstained. It just, when you think about it, just that one-time payment of reparations for black people all over the world, it will close the wealth gap. It actually will surpass it. And so their goal is for us to never attain wealth. Look at the Epstein files. Look at some of the guys we was all fans of in Epstein files. This is a global ring. The elite, they want to be able to do what they want and don't have no consequences. They're heartless, they're evil. Look at what Oracle done their employees the other day. 30,000 people got an email. 30,000. That's almost as many people got emails as dude is mentioned in the files. He was mentioned 38,000. So, humans don't realize, that the ushering in of AI and chat GPT and all that stuff there, that's the get humans out the workforce. That's exactly what that is. These people want to bet the whole house on AI, and when it doesn't work out in their favor, they want to get rid of the employees. That's why people should realize, don't be believing in these jobs, man. We all need a job to make honest living, but we all need to be fairly compensated. I see where the governor of Virginia passed a $15 minimum wage law, but that's not due to take effect to 2029. People need change now. The federal minimum wage should be $25. The minimum wage hasn't changed in 40 years. It's still $7.25. The Constitution is outdated. Laws outdated. People just tired of the status quo. How do you expect a country to sustain running with 104 million people out of work? It's truly impossible. They just rendered the United States insolvent. All because they want to see the white man in charge. Everybody think it's a game. Nothing ain't serious nowadays. We all like to joke and laugh about certain things, but politics affects us all. Whether we believe it or not, or you're in denial. It affects us all, especially on the local level. You know, what's going on in my state. You know, you want to have Louisiana as the most stressed out state in America, but all 50 states should be. When you look at the top 10, 8 of those states are in the South. Why? It's a coordinated effort. They know 54% of black people stay in the South. So what better way than to keep them all at a certain level? The biggest ism is classism. Yeah, I mean, racism is embedded. That ain't going nowhere. That's global. That's going to be even when God come back. You know, the biggest ism is classism, where you keep people at a certain threshold in life where they can only attain certain things, you know. And then we blame the immigrants. That's an old one. We're blaming the immigrants. We're blaming the welfare system and the Jews and all these people. They get more welfare than any other minority group. You know, everybody want to be superior, but all America care about is the 1%. That's all they care about is the 1%. You know, I don't understand how they done infiltrated the working class to think that immigrants are the problem. The same immigrants that's building the houses and all this stuff here, getting called on by ICE. You know, they just arrested a woman the other day. You're exploiting people, exploiting labor. What that sound like? Slavery. It sounds exactly like slavery. Exploiting labor. And that's actually what's going on in America, exploiting the labor from us. They don't care how you make it, how you gonna pay your bills, how your kids gonna get to and from. They don't care. You know, they tax the hell out of us for everything. And so you're working. Some people have decent jobs that make decent money, got careers, you know. But, you know, at the end of the year or whatever, or throughout the year, you know, we have turmoil that happens in our lives too. But we can't ask the government for help. With everything we hearing that's coming out now, nobody should be ashamed of getting government assistance. No one. You know, just imagine if Iran wouldn't follow international law, war laws. They hacked the FBI direct email. So the images that they showed us, that's what they wanted to show us. So just wanted to tap in with people and just give people like some hope, man. You know, right now God just gonna have to get the glory. You know, something gonna eventually happen. You know, just like 9/11 happened. Nobody saw that coming. You know, it's just the same old people just want to stay in charge. You know, we got to get the people in Congress. You know, we need an overhaul of politicians that listen to the people, not the APAC. You know, we need an overhaul of politicians. This is just the old batch. You're not getting it anymore. And you're not listening to the people. You know, we actually dealing with a tyrannical government. You know, they building bunkers. They living on Navy base because they know eventually they're going to be overthrown. So what better way to prepare yourself, you know, for the inevitable, you know? But Iran is on a mission. Iran is on a mission to liberate people all over the world. You know, got to usher in a new system, man. The capitalism is eating people alive. You know, something has to be done on the ground level and meet people where they at. You know, we got so many financial gurus on social media, man. It's astounding. You know, imagine waking up in America, the 350 million people with no power, no water, no internet, and somebody tell you need cash on hand. He's serious. You know, we've all worked in this system. Our parents, our grandparents, it's not working. It's not working for no one. So we got to make a decision what we want to do going forward. We got to make a decision. You know, I think about the Million Man March. Well, people was tired of what was going on in America, and so he had all races there at the Million Man March. You know, we don't have time for coons. We really don't. This is a serious situation. What's going on? Never before happened in America. You know, I think we're gonna see the first sitting president arrested. But hey, you know, something has to happen. The whole administration is illegitimate. He didn't even win the election. Everything's gonna come out. He's never won no election. But that's what happened when the devil is in charge. You know, we all have a decision. You go left or right. Every time somebody went left, I always went right. You know, it's not a joking matter. You know, maybe a false flag in America. They're going to try to stay in power by any means necessary. Don't put nothing past these evil people. Look what they've done to kids. You think they care about killing Americans? It was all fun and games. And all these people that we looked at as celebrities and innovators and all that, they're all evil and demonic. But people so caught up in the capitalism, we know we all have to make honest living. But we all got to be real with ourselves and realize we about 1 or 2 checks away from being homeless. It's a coordinated effort. I don't need a financial guru to tell me what's going on. I see it. I see it. And just because people spending money don't mean they have money. You know? 300,000 black women out the workforce. Over 1 million people, actually, black people out of work. They so horrible. You would take that $37 billion pay cut to the GDP to affect the stock market and everything else just to make sure black people stay where they at. Until we all liberated, America gonna have to atone for what they done. So I'm looking forward to Americans being liberated, especially the working class. You know, it has to come to an end. I'm not a fearmonger. I don't really believe in all that. You know, I'm just more of a truth teller. The news I need, I'm gonna have to deliver it. You know, so stay tuned. Just still figuring things out. But I'm signing off. This is Shop Talk. You can follow me on X, contact_CO. That's KONTACK_CO. On Instagram, that's contact_CO. That's KONTACK_CEO. Until next time, we all just gonna keep everybody in our prayers. That's how I look at things. You know, I'm praying for the people I never meet. And I hope they will do the same. So I'm signing off.